question and a short answer also, please.
This is not a question, this is additional information regarding the crop diversification and overall productivity. In Bangladesh, a good example, the window for potato. Earlier farmers in North Bangladesh, there is one district, Dinaspur, they were not growing potato, they were not aware, only they were growing wheat. But when it was introduced, because of this more income, they brought more area, and within a 4 or 5 years back, there is about 60,000 hectare area under potato that has replaced the wheat. So overall productivity and income has increased. So farmers have to see that as a good spirit. It's a good example in Bangladesh.
Thank you, Dr. Kadian. May I add, I think Rab was asking specifically for the pulse production. And I can say for sure that with the introduction of the improved varieties in many places, the production has gone double. The only problem is that how many people are adopting those improved varieties. That's a real challenge. But in places where people are adopting, it's going from 405 kilo a hectare to 1+ ton. So it's there, but adoption is a big challenge.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Ashutosh.
There's another question there.
Very short question.
Please.
Any studies in terms of what's happening to marketing versus food security as the yields go up? Because when the market is attractive, sometimes people shortchange their own food security.
Yeah, this is a, you see, for major crops, there is government, that minimum support price, MSP. But for the legumes, no. So you see, farmers that the farm get price, they get very less. The middleman, they are stocking, and later on it becoming it's become not a poor man's meat, a rich man's meat. We always call poor man's meat. But you see that, for example, lentil price is $1.6 per kg now in Bangladesh before the season. Yeah, it's really, but we have to take care to combine the socio-economics and all market people together.
Thank you, Ashutosh. Thank you for interaction. Our next speaker is Dr. Gowda from ICRISAT. He's a food legume breeder by profession and a global team leader for crop improvement. Dr. Gowda, please.
Thank you, Dr. Rizvi, for your introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, I used to be the global team leader for crop improvement until 31st December. With the reorganization, with the strategic plan, I am now a director for the grain legumes program, so putting more emphasis on grain legumes. But for those of you in the international agriculture system, I'm also leading the CGI research program on grain legumes, which involves 5 international centers that includes AVRDC, ICRISAT, CIAT, IATA, and ICARDA.
Sorry
Plus,
for the introduction
no,
was not updated.
You are not to be blamed because we haven't got this information yet to the public, so that is no problem. I just thought I will introduce that to the people. Today I will be speaking on the role of these 3 legumes in enhancing human health, because the conference itself is on agriculture, nutrition, and health. And of course, the reason I chose these 3 crops is because ICRISAT works on these 3 legumes. In spite of repeating a few things that many of you may know, I just would like to reiterate the fact that grain legumes are important for human health. And in addition to protein, they also are good sources of carbohydrates, dietary fiber, vitamins, and minerals. And the nutritional benefits have led to their diversified use, both for culinary as well as nutritional purposes. And many health benefits have been documented because in addition to protein and other things, legumes are known to reduce cardiovascular diseases, colon cancer, managing diabetes, improving bone health, and also reducing obesity in many countries. In terms of looking at the importance of protein in human health, protein calorie malnutrition is impacting human health in many places, especially in young children, and it affects nearly 170 million, especially of the preschool children and also nursing mothers in both Asia and sub-Saharan Africa. Looking at levels of protein and protein digestibility, protein varies between 22 to 29% in these three legumes, and the protein digestibility can go as high as 80% in chickpea, which is supposed to be one of the best foods among the legumes as such, because it has a good combination of both protein, carbohydrates, as well as minerals and amino acids. Looking at the important amino acids in the grain legumes, as you can see here, I've just listed a few major amino acids that are important for human health, including the sulfur-containing amino acids, and they are in reasonably high quantities to help good health in human beings. Looking at minerals and vitamins, in terms of both vitamins and minerals, which do affect the cognitive development and also enhancing the disease resistance and growth in infants and children. And mineral disorders can cause some of these, both vitamins and mineral disorders can cause these health problems. And all that I would like to emphasize is legumes are good sources for both minerals and vitamins, and can avoid or reduce some of these disorders. Looking at the minerals in the grain legumes, and in the last column, I just gave wheat a cereal for comparison, except for sodium and calcium, which are high in wheat. The legumes definitely have a higher content of other minerals for most of the cases. There may be some differences here and there, but overall they have shown a better content of minerals in many cases. Looking at the vitamins, again, I just gave a comparison of wheat. Don't ask me why I'm not giving rice or other things. I just happened to catch hold of the data on wheat, so I just gave that for comparison. And just like to draw your attention, of course, apart from those listed above, the last three, vitamin E, beta carotene, and total folates, which are high except for beta carotene, which is not detected in groundnut. We are currently working with the Harvest Plus Challenge program, especially the one that is supported by Government of India for developing, increasing beta carotene content in groundnut, because being a oil-bearing crop, we hope that the bioavailability of beta carotene would be much higher in case of groundnut if we can enhance the content of beta carotene. Several fatty acids are important for human health, and I just gave a few here in terms of the linoleic and linolenic acid, which have omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids, and some of these fatty acids are involved in prevention and management of several non-communicable diseases. This oleic and linoleic acid that I mentioned earlier, I have just given you the contents here, including the content of palmitic acid, and they are reasonably good in these legumes. And looking at Ashutosh Sarkar, when he was mentioning, he did mention about some of the anti-nutritional factors that are present, especially in faba bean. In some of the legumes, especially in chickpea and pigeon pea, there are some anti-nutritional factors that are present. Those are indicated here. They are known to affect protein digestibility, but the major factor is that some of these anti-nutritional factors can be reduced or eliminated by soaking, by cooking, boiling, or fermentation and autoclaving. So many of these are automatically eliminated when these legumes are cooked. So when people consume it after it is cooked, then these things no longer exist, so they don't affect. But if you are eating them raw, there will be some flatulence and other things that can cause some discomfort and some reduction in protein digestibility. I just gave you a few of these anti-nutritional factors that are present. I don't think you need to worry too much. If people need the data, I can definitely send you some of these tables if they need. Only in case of groundnut, we do have problems of aflatoxins. Aflatoxins are not produced by groundnut per se. They are produced when aflatoxins get infected by a fungus called Aspergillus flavus or Aspergillus parasiticus. So they are, when they infect groundnut, when they are in the field or in the store, aflatoxins are produced. These are toxic elements. They do cause some problems, especially being carcinogens, can cause liver cancer. So what we need to ensure is when groundnuts are produced and stored, we need to ensure that there is no infection by Aspergillus. We have tried to breed varieties with capability to reduce aflatoxin contamination because there is very limited genetic variation in the cultivated groundnut for reduced aflatoxin content. The effort has not been highly successful, but as I said, if we can have good crop management practices during production and storage, we can definitely reduce aflatoxin contamination. In terms of looking at the beneficial characters of the grain legumes for human health, I just listed a few, and I don't think we need to go through again because some of these I have mentioned in the earlier slides. In terms of human health, many of the legumes have been used in herbal medicine. I just gave here an example of use of pigeon pea for its herbal medical properties, and both all the flower parts like flowers, plant parts like flowers, leaves, seeds, and roots are used in herbal medicine. Some of these are listed here. Coming to managing some of the non-communicable diseases in India, I just took this from some of the literature that was available for India. Some of these figures are not very encouraging. They are disturbing because some of these can be avoided if people can eat healthy diets. And the the CGI research program that we are putting up for funding, we are putting legumes and health as a major factor, a major objective, because we find that by consuming legumes, some of these non-communicable diseases can be managed very well. I think that is something that we need to emphasize. I think the whole conference is going to talk about this, and I just thought I need to indicate this. And one of these factors here, obesity, which is affecting about 1/5 of the population in India, can be managed if people can use legumes as a major food in their diets. Again, looking at role of grain legumes in diseases and some of the disorders, I just indicated that legumes can be used straight as nutraceuticals in managing both cardiovascular diseases and managing the cholesterol levels, managing diabetes and blood pressure, and also managing some of the digestive tract disorders as a laxative and reducing colon cancer and, of course, weight loss and obesity. Looking at cardiovascular diseases and grain legumes, I've listed some of the elements that are found in chickpea that can lower the incidence of both cardiovascular as well as coronary heart diseases. That is the chemical that is found in groundnut that is associated with reducing the cardiovascular diseases, and the fiber-rich legumes do help in reducing serum cholesterol and the lower density lipoprotein cholesterol levels, and thereby reducing the incidence of coronary heart diseases. These are some of the mechanisms that are involved in reducing cardiovascular and coronary heart diseases. I am not going to dwell in detail, but just re-emphasizing that some of the polyunsaturated fatty acids have beneficial effects on insulin sensitivity, and some of these can definitely help in reducing the cholesterol levels. Managing type 2 diabetes, especially chickpea, because of the resistant starch that is available, which has low glycemic index, and this can help manage diabetes, especially type 2 diabetes in many of these people with diabetes. Again, managing high blood pressure or hypertension, many of these legumes are known to help in reduction. Looking at the role of legumes in managing digestive tract diseases, some of these elements that are present in the legumes do help in laxation and bowel function, and the insoluble fibers in the colon favors the growth of the microflora that can help in reducing colon cancer, and I have listed some of the other elements that can help in many of these reduction in the diseases present in the digestive system. Obesity and weight loss, as I mentioned earlier, intake of these fiber-rich foods like chickpea definitely helps in lower body mass, and also consumption of these low glycemic index foods can result in increase of hunger suppressants, and these foods also resulted in reduction of insulin levels and higher weight loss compared to those with higher glycemic index. There are other health benefits of grain legumes. Some of the carotenoids like lutein and zeaxanthin help in protecting senile macular degeneration. Vitamin A, which is a derivative of beta carotene, is important for vision. Some of the phytosterols also exhibit anti-ulcerative as well as antibacterial and antifungal properties. Carotenoids are also reported to increase natural killer cell activities. I've listed again in several uses of grain legumes as traditional medicine. They could be used as tonics, as antihelminthic, as well as treating some of the other disorders. Groundnut also helps in reducing malnutrition. Some of the studies have also shown that it can also help in people with tuberculosis as a managing factor. And people have seen that groundnut in diets with people with HIV can also help in managing HIV as well. There are special foods that have been prepared using peanuts and definitely has been found to be very helpful in managing HIV. To conclude, I would just like to again re-emphasize that legumes are good sources of dietary protein. They are also high in essential amino acids, also in minerals. The high dietary fiber, the folates, reduce both cardiovascular and coronary heart diseases and also help reduce cancer, especially colon cancer. Some of the anti-nutritional factors that are present in some of the legumes can be managed by soaking before cooking and also by cooking. Legumes do help manage type 2 diabetes. Carotenoids, vitamins, and phytosterols have many other health benefits, and many of the legumes are used as parts of traditional medicine in many of the Asian countries. With this, Mr. Chairman, I end my presentation, and thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Gowda. We have time to take a couple of questions.